I think it always goes back to the fact of how can anyone else respect you if you don't respect yourself? And I truly feel as though the ultimate sign of respect for oneself is taking care of yourself. What's up, guys? How's it going? I have to ask. You know who this is. What's going on? Welcome back to Wallbreaker 200. I am your host, the one and only, the man himself. That's right, Raheel Siddiqui coming to you, man. And as always, so excited, so fired up to be here. Man, what can I say? I got to kick things off right now as you see the blue and orange on me all over. Got to represent our new hire, our new coach, Mike Brown. Welcome to the Big Apple, man. So fired up, so excited to have you on board. Not gonna lie, I didn't have an opinion one way or another, about which coach we should hire and who should we go after, what should we do. And even when we hired Mike Brown, I didn't really have a specific feeling towards it, but seeing the press conference and his fire, his passion, his drive, a lot of experience that he's bringing to the table. I think the Garden fans are going to appreciate him. And, I'm excited, man. I'm ready for the season to start. So congrats, coach. Welcome to the team. So with that being said, let's get things kicked off here, shall we? I hope everybody is having a great summer. I hope you guys are enjoying out at the pools, the beaches, getting those tans. I tried to hit the pool a lot this summer so far. We've had a little bit of rain and some clouds more than usual in the DMV. Definitely it gets annoying, man, when that happens because, when you don't live in a hot, sunny state all year round, you really try to appreciate the summers in areas such as the Northeast where we currently live, where I currently live in the DMV area, because obviously before you know it, September is here. Then all of a sudden, I feel like the temperatures just go way down and fall season is already kicked off. So either way, hope you guys are enjoying a great summer. So with that being said, man, I wanted to talk about a really important topic in terms of choosing your hard, right? Because I feel like at the end of the day, what can we say, man? Except life is really hard, right? I don't think I know anybody in my entire life that has said life is easy. You just wake up and it's just a piece of cake. It's a cakewalk, right? But all jokes aside, I saw a quote on Instagram the other day, and a guy that I follow, and basically he was talking about choosing your hard. And I was thinking about this a lot, and kind of the gist of what he was talking about was being out of shape versus being in shape. And I wanted to kind of elaborate on this as well, talk about this as well with you guys, because I feel like obviously this is very important. This show in particular, we do talk a lot about the importance of health, fitness, and wellness, and multiple areas of motivation and mindset and resilience, breaking down walls. And again, this is another wall we have to go break down, right? So I guess elaborating on choosing your hard per se, two elements, right? Being out of shape versus being in shape. So I'm going to start with being out of shape because, as you know, for all of you out there who follow me, who know me, who have watched me closely over the years, I've been on both sides of the fence, right? I know what it's like to be completely out of shape, and now I know what it's like to be in better shape, right? I never want to say I'm in fully in shape, with being down 200 pounds, but much better shape than what I was in before, because as that guy that I am, if you guys heard my last episode, I don't want to settle. I want to keep leveling up. I want to continue to keep setting goals, winning more championships. So I want to keep getting better. But nonetheless, let me kind of pivot to my first point to this episode about being out of shape, right? And, being out of shape is hard. I mean, let's just face it, man. Let's just get right to it. It's really hard, right? When you're out of shape and you are in that position in your life, it doesn't matter what age in particular, but especially as you get older, it just gets that much harder, right? I remember when I was 405 pounds, being out of shape was just so exhausting, right? Mentally, physically, from a mental aspect, going to bed, laying down at night, breathing heavy, having all these thoughts in your head, like what's going on? Why can't I be happy? Why aren't I happy? Why am I not happy? Why am I not excited about life? Because I was tired, right? I was mentally tired. I was exhausted. Everything that I've been through, from the bullying, from getting picked on. You guys heard me talk about this a lot. And then also just the aspect of the frustration, right? I was just so frustrated because I wanted to be, athletic. And I felt like, again, if you guys have heard me say this before, I felt like I was athletic for my size, especially at that time. I did play high school football. A lot of my boys that know me, that we would play a lot of pickup ball, basketball, football, etc. I felt like I was pretty athletic for my size at that time in my teens and my early 20s. But still, I wasn't as athletic as a lot of my other friends were, jumping higher. They were running faster. They were more explosive. I didn't have those abilities or capabilities because of my weight. I was heavy, and I would therefore get tired easily, more easily than those guys. And I wasn't in peak performance shape as I would have liked to have been. Then also, on top of that, the mental and the physical aspect of, in terms of breathing, right? I had sleep apnea. My blood work was all over the place. My blood pressure was 220 over 140. My heart was a walking time bomb. And looking for clothes, I mean, you're talking about a guy who would walk into a Nordstrom or an Express or a Macy's, and I knew, and I think that's what really hurt, man, especially on that aspect, right? That really hurt. Anytime that I would walk into a store and I would see something really nice, it's not even the fact of, I think that there's a chance that, oh, maybe they might have my size. No, I was a size 50 waist. Okay. I knew that they did not have my size in stock. And I think that's what really hurt a lot. I'm a New York City boy. Fashion is in my blood. I love to dress up. I love to look good. I love to feel good. I love to represent myself, my family, in that light of, oh man, like this guy, he's sharp, he's well put together. He has a sense of style, a sense of fashion. I feel like you get respect. The more you take care of yourself, the more respect that you get. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Speaking on this topic of being out of shape, aside from the blood work, aside from the sleep apnea, aside from the depression, aside from the lack of athleticism, it was also the fact of respect. I got zero respect. Okay. And I'm telling you this right now. And people that know me, they might be like, oh, I don't know if they're feeling one way or another, but I'm telling you right now, I didn't get any respect, man, because I would walk in and I would be the laughing stock, right? I was the guy that they would look at and be like, oh my God, they look at this guy. And I was like that pretty much my whole life for 3 decades. I got zero respect. I would be the guy that would get picked on all the time. And again, I didn't help matters because I was also a guy that started a lot of banter too. I would come in there, be loud, be brash, and start a lot of banter too. But at the end of the day, I just did not get any respect. And, I think it always goes back to the fact of, how can anyone else respect you if you don't respect yourself? And I truly feel as though the ultimate sign of respect for oneself is taking care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Once you take care of yourself, everything else will fall into place. I remember one quote that my dad told me, and it really resonated with me, and it still has. He told me that, everything in life, you can pretty much figure it out. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, you can figure out school, grades, you can figure out your career, you can figure out friendships, you can figure out relationships. If you're having beef with somebody, if there's a problem here, if your car breaks down, you need new tires, anything in your life you can figure out. But the one element that you can't just figure out when you get so down deep in the weeds is your health. When you get to that place, God forbid, or that space where now you're on like medications for the rest of your life, God forbid your kidneys are shot and you're on dialysis, or you lose vision because your sugar is too high, there is no figuring it out, man. I mean, that's it. It's already figured out for you. This is the path. God forbid people that are on dialysis, if they don't get a kidney transplant or there's no long-term solution, odds are you're going to be on dialysis for the rest of your life. For those people that have extremely high, sugar levels, right? Diabetes example. And, diabetes can cause blindness. And again, I'm not a doctor, but I just know one of the symptoms can be caused from diabetes is loss of vision. And I've known adults, also older adults, that have lost vision because of diabetes. There is no figuring it out. Like, you can't go to the eye doctor and be like, hey, fix my eyesight. There's nothing they can do because you let your body get so tore up on the inside. And now these are the effects of what you let happen to your body, right? Mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I remember really quickly when I was in college, I was a pharmacy tech with my dad. And I remember one time we saw a woman come in. She would come once a month, every single month. And, it was really sad because she was very overweight. She was probably like almost 500 pounds. Okay. She was very overweight. And she was on a state Medicaid plan for a state of Maryland. And I'll never forget this. She walked in and she had 15 medications. Okay. 15 prescriptions. And all she would do was pop one pill a day, every single day for 30 days. $1 per medication, $15 a month. And that was it. She didn't work. She was so overweight. She was so far gone mentally and physically. I remember her telling my dad, like, you know what, Mr. Muhammad, like, this is it. This is the rest of my life. I just pop a pill all day, all day, and I just sit on the couch every single day. I don't know how to come back from this. But, looking back at it now, I feel like her mind really conquered her soul because that was her mindset telling her that. Had I known what I know now, I wish I could have taught her and been like, no, man, you can try to find a way to come back from it. It's never too late. If you have breath in your lungs and you're still breathing, you can come back from any goddamn fall known to man. I can promise you that. You're talking to a guy who just ripped off 200 pounds. I don't care if it took me 15 and a half years. I did it, man. I did it, okay? I didn't just go through hell. I burned in it. I know what it takes. I know how hard it is. You can come back from it. And I wish I could tell her, I wish I could have told her those things back then. But my point is that when she walked away, I remember my dad calmly coming over to me and he said, like, look, look at how sad that was. Did you hear what she said? I said, yes. And he was like, this is what I've been trying to tell you. Like, I don't want you to fall down this path. And at that time, I was young, I was immature. I actually honestly took it offensive. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I was like, why is my dad telling me I'm going to end up like this? But because now that I'm a dad and now that I'm older, now I see this 20 years later, it's because I was going to end up like that, man. I mean, I was going down a rabbit hole. I wasn't that much less weight than what she was, and I was much younger than what she was. And my own father is telling me, like, look, man, please take care of your health. Like, I'm telling you right now, I know he was a pharmacist. He would see patients like this come in all the time that just couldn't get over these type of hurdles. It was hard. Like, looking at her was very hard. Like, that was the rest of her life, just popping pills every single day, all day, and she just basically gave up. And that was it. So, and it's funny. I always tell people this all the time too. We're in the summertime. We talked about it, right? And I always tell people all the time, you're talking to me about planning vacations. When was the last time you planned a doctor's visit? Can you tell me that? I mean, we live in a society where now everyone cares about planning vacations, and that's great. But when was the last time you planned a doctor's visit? And I'm talking about those people who need a doctor's visit. I'm talking about those people specifically that haven't seen the doctor in 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years. Like, what are you doing? Is vacation going to be fun if you don't even know if you are in the best shape of your life? How fun is vacation if you're wheezing and you're breathing heavy and you are not in the best shape of your life and you are constantly worried about something, or God forbid, you're having a problem, a backache, a knee pain, breathing, wheezing, sleep apnea? You don't know it. That's the point. You don't know if you never even got a physical done in XYZ amount of time, but yet you want to go to the beach and plan a week, 2 weeks vacation because that's more important to you than going to see your doctor to make sure that you are even okay. Let me tell you something, guys. Please go see the doctor. Make sure you are okay. Get that thumbs up. Get that clean bill of health, and then go plan your vacation. Okay? Please do this for me, man. Please. I can't stress enough how important it is. So going back to the hard about being in shape. Now, as you know, being in shape is really goddamn hard too, okay? You're talking about a guy who was 405 pounds who couldn't even climb up a flight of stairs for literally 5 minutes on top of going on the treadmill. Couldn't even I was sucking wind, okay? Forget breathing heavy. I was sucking wind. I was gasping for air. It was like my heart was just trying to pump whatever it could. The air in my lungs was like, oh my God, this body hasn't moved. It's been like a used car in the garage that's been parked in the garage for 10 years and you're starting it up for the first time. That's how my body felt that very first that very first day when I took my team weight loss class in the gym. That's how my body felt. It literally felt like a used car that you kept in your garage for 10 years and now you're starting it for the first time to see if it even works. That's how my body felt that day. It was hard, right? It was hard going back after I had to announce my weight to the entire class about being 405 pounds and crying my eyes out. It was hard going back on the treadmill and doing it every day for 5 minutes, for then 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes. And then it was hard to lift a weight. I couldn't even lift a gallon of milk. That's how weak I was, okay? Forget everything else now. I couldn't even lift up a gallon of milk without struggling. My arms, my body, my chest, everything was just weak. My whole body was weak because again, I kept the car in the garage for 10 plus years. I don't know the last time I even actually fully put a full workout in the gym prior to 2010, maybe high school. Yeah, probably. So 10 years is actually the perfect example because I played high school football. I was 17. I didn't do any work in the gym prior to that, really like hardcore locked in for 10 years leading up to that point when I was 27 years old. And, it's hard to have somebody at that weight, at that size, walking, knees are hurting. I remember when I started to jog a little bit, I would have shin splints. I would have blisters all over my feet, all over. Sorry if that's disgusting, but I'm just being honest with you. But that is the issues that you get when you don't exercise after a certain amount of time. These problems are going to start arising, right? I literally wanted to quit so bad. Okay, so freaking bad. You guys have no idea. Crying my eyes out. Obviously, back pains. My knees were hurting. They were swelling. I was like, why are my knees swelling? Because I'm just going through it. It was hard, man. Like, I mean, I'm just remembering those times like it was yesterday because if you know me, I remember everything. Okay. My memory makes me who I am. As much as I want to remember the good times, I always go back to the bad times too, like this, because that's where the driving force comes from. That's where the motivation comes from. You know, I used to be so afraid of everything. I mean, I was afraid of so much. I was afraid to walk in a room. I was afraid to have people look at me. I was afraid of people to commenting at me because I had a plate of food and I didn't want people to make a comment about me, being like, hey, man, like, about all the other stories that I've told you guys when people would just embarrass me and humiliate me. And then I was afraid to even show up at the gym because I was so slow and I was overweight and I was a target and I felt like people were looking at me and they felt sorry for me. I was afraid. But if you guys heard me say this before, you get the most strength from fear. When you are the most afraid, that's where you get all of your strength. I did a podcast with my girl at Megan Alice. Shout out. Thank you for having me on there. It was a IG live and I remember her and I were talking just about fear and about holding on. And I remember her asking me or telling me just about holding on, right? You have to find a way to just hold on, no matter how hard it is, hold on. And I gave the best example ever of Rocky 4, right? When round one, he got crushed by Ivan Drago, the immovable object, the biggest animal, the biggest, hardest opponent. I mean, the way that they made him look in that movie was absolutely phenomenal. An indestructible force and an immovable object just destroyed Rocky, right? And especially in round one. He killed his best friend, Apollo Creed. You're in Russia. You're fighting a tough crowd. You're taking a beating of your life. You're fighting an immovable object. You have every reason to quit. It's the hardest fight of your entire life. And it's the hardest fight you're ever going to face, right? And then what happens in round two? He's getting hit. He's getting hit. You hear Duke saying, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. And then boom, like he's cut. The Russians cut. And here comes Balboa. Boom, 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 right? That's what you do when it gets hard and you're afraid and you're scared. That's what you do. You take that one swing, right? And then Drago looks at his eye and he was like, damn, holy crap, right? He took all of that and he was like, oh my God. He sat in his corner, Ivan Drago, and he said, this guy is like a piece of iron. He is not human. That is the exact mentality I am trying desperately to show all of you. You guys have it in you. You can be Rocky Balboa and go blow down, go knock down that wall, that Ivan Drago that is standing in your way. Yeah, it's hard. If it was easy, you think anybody could do this? You think anybody can just go lose any amount of weight. I lost 200 pounds, okay? 200. Okay, I'm willing to die for this. I almost did die practically for this. Honestly, you guys know my story, right? It's everything to me. I give it all of me, right? You guys heard me say this. My training is everything to me. You get all of me or you get none of me. I don't know 60 miles an hour. I just know 100 miles an hour or zero, and that's it. There is no 60 miles an hour. I go tell people if I'm too much, then go find less because I don't care. I don't care. My training is the most important part of my life, and then my family. I cannot say my family comes first if I'm just laid up in a bed and I'm taking 15 medications or I'm on dialysis or I can't see because my sugar is high or my blood pressure is 220 over 140. I don't want to hear that your family is your top priority if you're laid up sick in the bed, man or woman. I don't care. If you can't take care of yourself, don't tell me your family is the most important part of your life. You're too even sick. You're not even healthy enough to take care of them. So how are they the most important part of your life? If somebody can explain that to me, please do, because I've yet to see it. It's hard, okay? Choose your hard. Being out of shape is very hard. Being in shape is very hard. But I promise you, if you can choose your hard and stick to it, of being in shape, because I really hope that's the hard that you guys end up choosing, I promise you, it is the most beautiful just decision you will ever make in your entire life, okay? Don't be out of shape. And again, we're not talking numbers. We're not talking about, losing 10 pounds, 20 pounds. We're not talking about that because everybody has a different weight. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has different dreams. Everybody has different visions. I get all of that. We all do. We're all different body types. Okay. Just because I lost a certain amount of weight doesn't mean that, God forbid, you have to. I hope you don't have 200 pounds to lose. Let's just put it that way. Okay. I hope none of you have that much to lose. Right. But that doesn't mean it's going to be any less hard. Whatever amount of weight you're trying to lose, whatever goals you're trying to have for your physique, I know it's extremely hard. I know it. Okay. I've lived it. I've breathed in it. I know it. But I promise you, if you choose your hard of being in shape versus out of shape, it'll be the best decision of your life. I know it was the best decision of my life. I promise you that. All right, guys. That's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on my YouTube page at Raheel the Speaker. You can find my show Wallbreaker 200 on all audio platforms, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, etc. Until next time, peace out.